Hey guys, this is Daniel Davis, the Who reviewer, once again with Roger Coleman, LafTrack, and today we're going to be looking at episode 5 of series 8 of Doctor Who. I know I said series 3 at the end in last episode. I'm sorry, I'm in series 8. So it's series 8. So it's series 8 of Doctor Who, Time Heist, written by Stephen Thompson and Stephen Moffat. Now, I went into this episode cautiously because Stephen Thompson, as a writer for Doctor Who, he's not very good. He wrote Curse the Black Spot in series 6, which is a really bad story. And then he wrote Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS for series 7, which was, again, another bad story.
Right.
And he also wrote The Blind Banker for Sherlock, which, again, is a bad episode.
Fair enough.
So, I think we can guarantee that he's not that great of a writer. So, when I heard that, he was coming back, I didn't really have much enthusiasm for him, especially because there was an interview I saw in Doctor Who magazine about the writers who were going to be used for Series 8. And when I saw Stephen Thompson's name, and I saw what Stephen Moffat was saying, I couldn't help but roll my eyes a bit. Because Stephen Moffat was saying stuff like, was basically saying that Stephen Thompson is great, and anyone who disagrees is pretty much, they have no idea what they're talking about. So
basically complete naivety.
Yeah. So I went into this episode thinking this is going to be the worst episode of series. This is going to be worse than last week's.
Yeah. And you thought?
I was surprisingly surprised.
Yeah. I actually quite like this one.
Yeah, it isn't the best.
Yeah.
But compared to what he's written before, this is certainly an improvement.
And it was definitely far better than the one before it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, the whole point of this episode is that they go in through it's like Doctor Who meets Ocean's 11.
Yeah, there's kind of like a mystery that you need to solve throughout the entire episode, and there's a big payoff at the end. I personally, I'm a really big fan of this kind of way of storytelling. I love the whole thing with the mystery to solve. I was a big fan of a film that I don't think was given that much attention. It was this film called Now You See Me, featuring Morgan Freeman and Michael Caine. And it was about this, spoiler alert in case I ever guess what it was about this group of magicians that commit crimes and they're doing it because someone has set them up to do it, and they perform all these tricks and illusions and do all these shows in which they essentially steal money, and then they don't keep the money, they give it away and stuff.
Yeah.
And at the end, it's revealed that the person who's in the FBI trying to hunt them down and stop them, it turns out that person is the one that set this up in the first place.
So yeah, it does sound very similar to Time Heist.
Yeah.
Because basically that was what happened. Basically the Doctor, Clara, and these two other people, Sai and it's like Saibra, is that her name? Saibra?
I don't remember how to pronounce her name at all.
Saibra, but basically they get involved they get called up by this guy called the Architect, and they want him to rob the biggest bank in the universe on Carabraxos. And basically there's an alien in there, the Teller. I quite like the Teller. Yeah,
the Teller was really cool, because I don't think lately that they've used that much full-on alien stuff when it comes to the villains.
I honestly looking at it, I thought it was CGI.
Yeah.
But it was all, but it was all practical. That was an actual animatronic mask, and it does look really good.
Yeah.
Really good. So basically, what the teller does is that it can read your thoughts, basically, and basically it can tell if you're lying and everything. And if it finds that you are keeping secrets,
it can essentially crush your mind.
It does look. That is quite gruesome.
Yeah, it's really horrible when you look at how.
I gotta say, even though the effect is good, I do have to wonder. Even if because basically it turns your brain into soup.
Soup,
basically, yeah. One thing I was saying, it's a cool effect. It looks really creepy. I don't know. Even if your brain does sort of collapse, would the skull collapse as well?
Yeah. I never thought about that. That's true.
Yeah. Because pretty much after he gets the break, cause pretty much when he comes to this guy and he pretty much turns his brain to soup, and basically his head just deflates.
Yeah, his head just impales in on itself.
He sort of collapses. You're busy thinking like, so what?
Like a burst football.
He kind of going like, did his skull just collapse as well? That's right. It looked like when Steyer died in the Sontaran experiment with Tom Baker. When he died, his head sort of deflated like a balloon.
Yeah.
That's because it was a balloon.
Yeah. It essentially looked like a popped football.
Yeah. I know. It's
and it kind of just like dips in on itself.
Yeah. It was scary.
Yeah, it was scary, and it definitely did look really good. But that is a good point.
Yeah. I would also say, I think Moffat is running out of ideas on what we can do in situations. Because this week it was, don't think. And basically, what have we had? We've had don't think, don't breathe, don't blink, you can't look under the bed.
Yeah.
What can't we do next?
Yeah, basically, don't think, don't blink, don't breathe, and don't turn around.
Yeah. What else can we do now? It's like, well, you can't stand still. What are we going to do then? I have to keep running? Okay, I'll just keep running. By the way, you can't. Next story, don't run. What? Okay, fine.
Next story, don't listen. Put your fingers in your ears.
It's like, okay, fine. I'll hop on one leg. You can't hop on one leg. Oh, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. The next episode after that, don't smell anything. Just stick your thumbs up your noses.
It's like, I'm turning into a friggin' idiot. It's that kind of thing now. We just think that is a bit of a repetitive thing.
Yeah, telling someone not to do a specific thing.
Yeah. Like I said, like we just demonstrated, and it gets to a point now. This keeps going. It's going to get ridiculous.
Yeah.
Capaldi is. I don't think we can say any more.
Yeah, because
there isn't anything we can't say at this point. He is just really good.
Yeah. There's not that really much change to his performance, I think.
No.
It's still kind of a small hint of, little goofiness and funniness.
Yeah.
Mixed in with a lot more seriousness to it.
Yeah.
And that works for me.
Yeah.
Because essentially, it's different. That's why I think it works. Because you had the same thing. You pretty much had the same thing when you transferred David Tennant to Matt Smith, because he was still the same kind of goofy, funny character. Yeah. Even though, personally, if I'm honest, I think Matt did it better than Tennant did. I preferred it on Matt and Tennant.
Yeah.
And with the transition from Matt to Capaldi, I think the whole thing about him being a bit more serious it works. It does. This is one of those times in which change is actually a good thing.
Yeah, I know. Clara
No, I don't think Clara did that much.
No. Again, she sort of carried the emotion.
Yeah, she was. She was essentially the one that carried the emotion.
Yeah.
I think, in my opinion.
And the side characters, Sai and Cerebra.
Yeah, I like those guys.
They were quite cool. Sai was like a
was a half human, half computer.
Yeah, who could sort of hack into these things. I kind of liked it when they were. I kind of liked it when he was up with the teller and he was showing all these
these images of all these criminals and things.
I know. I was quite surprised. They actually showed one character who's from the comics. I can't remember what he was called. Not on the top of my tongue, but he's basically like the Dalek, the great. He's basically, I forgot what his name is, but he's basically a Dalek assassin. He goes around. Basically, it was with the Seventh Doctor. He would basically assassinate the Daleks.
Right.
Basically, and we also saw a shot of the Slitheen.
Alright.
As well, which does make sense because they're a criminal family.
Yeah, that's true.
Saibra,
yeah, she was quite interesting of a character.
Yeah.
Because she sort of like put in quite an emotional performance, I think, in a sense.
I was quite intense when the teller got her when they were in the vents. Yeah. That was quite a tense moment. And of course that leads us to Miss Delphox.
Yes.
Played by Keely Hawes. I don't know really.
Yeah, I'm not really sure if there is anything you can exactly say about her.
Because Keely Hawes, I don't know. It doesn't seem.
No.
She was basically like Miss Foster from Partners in Crime in Series 4.
Yeah.
But mostly, I would say she's more like Madame Kavarian from Series 6. I mean, think about it. I mean, she does look like she looks like a younger version of her. I mean, if you just took away the glasses and gave her an eye patch, you'd have Madame.
You'd have the same thing.
You'd have Madame Kavarian, and don't get me wrong. I mean, even though she does look unbelievable, I don't think she was the right cast.
No, I don't think it's really a matter of her being the right cast. I think it's just to do with the way you kind of like see her as a character throughout the whole thing, because she didn't exactly give that much of a performance when it came to being the clones.
But as
when it's revealed that the actual person,
Madame Carbraxis. Yeah.
When it's actually revealed through her, you can see, that she does put a bit of a more performance into it. It's just she's not really given that much time because it's towards the end, and she pretty much just disappears after that.
Yeah.
So I think it's not really to do with the person they picked. I think it's just the amount of time that they were given with the clones rather than the real her.
Yeah.
Because she herself was the real character in this, and she wasn't given that much time. I think it's just down to the writing and stuff.
And so basically, it turns out this whole thing was not a bank heist; it was a time traveling heist. That was somehow set up by the Doctor.
Yeah, and it turns out it wasn't even a heist; it was a rescue mission.
Yeah, which for me, it followed the same plot as Hyde from Series 7, that episode with the haunted house.
Yeah.
The haunted house, where basically you find that, this creature they've been searching for is the last of its kind, and it wants to find its sort of other.
Yeah.
Other, but it was it's the same idea, basically.
Yeah.
But I think it was handled better in this story.
That's... personally, I think that's true. I think it was definitely handled a bit better in this one.
Yeah, I know, because so basically it turned that, I think we could all see that the Doctor was going to be the architect.
Yeah.
When he started talking about basically how much he hates him, because things was just going, it's going to be him.
Yeah, because the hints are dropped throughout the entire episode. You just don't realise it until until the Doctor recaps the whole thing.
Yeah, I know. And they brought back and they explained the use of they explained how they lost all their memories via the memory worms.
The memory worms,
which were from the Snowmen.
Mm-hmm.
Snowmen. So that was a nice reference. So that's really all we can sort of say. I mean, I will say there were some moments where you thought were a bit silly, like the moment when even though it's meant to be the most impregnable bank in the universe, It does have a lot of vents that's big enough for you
Yeah.
to go through.
I don't get that. Why is there so many vents?
There was one moment where, when they were crawling out of a vent, you could actually see on the top of the vent it says, "Do not use."
That's true.
So I was thinking, seriously, how would anyone not think, just going past the vent, sees that, "Do not use"? They're going to use it.
Yeah.
Alright, I know. It's like, "Do not use." That's tempting. Alright.
I know, they're pretty much just inviting them in.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, let's wrap things up here. What would you give it?
I would give it, I'd probably give it a 7.5. I think. I think, because obviously it wasn't, great.
But compared to Stephen Thompson.
But compared to Stephen Thompson's, it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I think given, how emotional... Actually, no, I'll switch it. I'll give it an 8.
An 8?
Yeah, I'll give it an 8. I think given how, emotionally invested with the side characters, that you quite got, because they made them seem like really enjoyable characters, and the whole setup of the mystery, the sort of like mystery element, and the way that the extra person in a species thing was done a lot better. I think this was a very good episode. So
Yeah.
I think it is worthy, in my opinion, of an 8.
Right.
You give it?
I would give it a 7.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna say that I did enjoy it. It wasn't something to write home about, but like we said, what with Stephen Thompson has done in the past, it's an improvement.
Yeah, it's a massive improvement from
Yeah.
what he's done in the past.
Yeah. Although I just wish now that, okay, he can actually write a good story. Now let's just stop using him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's everything we need to say. So tune in next week when we look at The Caretaker, written by Gareth Roberts, who is quite a veteran with the new series. So this should be interesting to see what he can come up with. So, thank you all for watching, and see you next week, which is going to be interesting how we're going to do next week, because university starts back.
Yeah.
So I need to know.
Yeah.
So that's going to be something we're going to have to figure out. So, but until then, see ya.
So long, guys.